Thank you for your interest, obviously, in this story. I think it's important not only to the employees here and the families, but to all the citizens of Virginia Beach and the Hampton Roads surrounding area. It was not too long ago, July 2nd, 2019, that council passed a resolution in regards to seeking an independent consultant to do an independent investigation. So I believe everybody received the RFP, and Friday was the deadline for all the firms to submit a proposal. As has been reported, we received 15 quality proposals. And we started reviewing them over the weekend and over the course of the last 2 days. So after a long, thorough review of all the various firms, we had a very tough decision. We had 15 quality firms. So this afternoon, via email, I first notified the City Council that we have completed our review. In accordance with the Virginia Public Procurement Act, we have also notified the public, especially those that bid. We posted the required notice of intent to award, okay? So we are in the process of now executing a contract. Okay, so the firm that was selected is the firm of Hillard Heinz. That's Hillard, Heinz, Heintze. And they are headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. Okay. And in my email, and what I'll explain here, while all 15 firms had various strengths, myself and the 2 others that helped me review, we all independently determined that Hillard Heinz offered the best value. And this was a best value contract. It wasn't the lowest bidder. You know, in this type of a situation, you certainly don't want the lowest bidder. So we selected based off of quality, expertise, as well as price, and those are all the components of a best value contract. The firm's proposal was very detailed, and it addressed every component in the City Council resolution. In addition, as an added plus, Hillard Heinz is also on the General Services Administration schedule, so they are an approved federal contractor, and really what that means, that just gives us an additional layer of assurance that they have a record of past performance, a strong financial stability, and they're in good standing with the federal government. Okay. Not sure who that is. All right. And more importantly, the team that Hillard Heinz, what really stood out from all the other firms was the team that they assembled, okay? And the team they have assembled, as it's spelled out here, as I informed the council, 4 former Secret Service agents. And these are Secret Service agents that had tremendous responsibility when they were with the Secret Service. They're mostly going to be in charge of reviewing security, policies, procedures, and practices, physical security assessment of the Virginia Beach Municipal Center. The team will consist of 2 law enforcement officers, okay? And one of them is a former chief from a very large city in California, and another is a deputy chief from a large city in Texas. And they will review all issues relating to the police response and any obstacles faced. Okay? The team also will consist of 2 attorneys, one who is the firm's general counsel, and the other who is a Supreme Court of Virginia certified mediator specializing in HR issues. Okay? The team also has 2 certified fraud examiners. Okay? They are skilled in forensic auditing, and they will perform a thorough data footprint of the killer's social media profile, if there is any, as well as any data mining of any data that needs to be reviewed. And finally, and especially one component that really stood out for this firm, the team will also consist of 1 mental health expert. And this is a licensed clinical and forensic psychologist. This individual will conduct a retrospective indirect threat assessment and risk evaluation of the shooter. So collectively, combining all the skill sets from Secret Service, law enforcement, attorneys, certified fraud examiners, mental health expert, that stood out far head and shoulders above the other candidates. Okay? So just going forward with the next steps. So today we are required by the Virginia Public Procurement Act to officially post a notice of intent to award, which notifies the public, the press, our citizens, that we do plan to go forward with awarding this contract. We are now in the contract phase, which means we are working with our city attorney's office, purchasing, as well as the firm to finalize all the various contract terms. So up until that is done, the proposals will not be made available until a contract has been executed. And that is in accordance with the Virginia Public Procurement Act. Once the contract has been executed and it has been signed, the proposal and all the various details will then be made available to the public. And the proposal identifies their timeline, their process. It will provide more information in regards to the makeup of the team. So at this point, we can't say their names because that's part of executing the contract, but it will have who their names are, more detailed background of their experience, okay? So at this time, I believe I have covered the key points that I wanted to go through in regards to who the firm is, what the next steps are, and a little bit about our rationale in regards to why we selected the firm. So at this point, I'll take it if you have anybody has any questions.
Has the firm ever done an investigation into a mass shooting?
Yeah, very good question. So the firm, unfortunately, because this is more of, it seems like an everyday occurrence, they have been involved in mass shootings. Not necessarily the ones that have, the Virginia Tech or San Bernardino, but as spelled out in their proposal, as you will see, they do, in fact, have experience in working with mass shootings. They have extensive experience in working with the police in regards to various types of activity involving adverse police activity. They have experience dealing with workplace violence, as well as the various HR issues relating to toxic environments, toxic employees. So very well-rounded. And then obviously they're skilled at physical threat assessment. Some of the Secret Service agents were in charge of the Secret Service physical security. As well as with the police chief, there's a strong background in law enforcement, so they can help in regards to ensuring any obstacles faced by the police department, their response, any conditions they faced as they entered Building 2, as well as conducting interviews with the various employees.
Well, I know it says that as soon as the contract is signed and the investigation can get started, do we have a timeline about how quickly or how long it will take to get this contract?
Yes, as I said from day one when I spoke with council, we are moving very quickly, but we're not being rushed. Council set a start date of no later than August 15th in the council, in the resolution. We're way ahead of that schedule. So we anticipate a contract being signed over the next couple of days. And so it could be as soon as the end of the week that a contract is signed. And the firm is ready, able, and willing to start right after. So we're way ahead of our established timeline.
What will the team be doing as far, will they be interviewing Building 2 employees? Will they be talking to family and police? And you kind of go over the steps of the investigation?
Yeah, so the scope of the investigation is outlined in the resolution, and that'll primarily be dictated by the firm. So we will do our part in serving as the liaison, making sure they have access to people, to documents, to records. But as part of the resolution and in meeting the scope, obviously there's going to be interviews, request the documents. We will help with that. In setting it up, and obviously the team, and only the team, and those that they bring in will be conducting any of the work. But up front, they will obviously, to meet some of the requirements in the scope of the res, will be conducting interviews. And in the proposal, which if we finalize the contract in the next couple of days, we'll make that available to you, and you will actually see their step-by-step, week-by-week. I mean, their estimated timeline is 12 weeks. Okay?
I know it's
Yes.
not in the FAQ, but can you kind of just explain how it's gonna work with the police investigation also going on? What they're gonna be able to see in terms of that?
Okay.
How that's gonna work?
Yeah, so this is a independent investigation, and like many of the other past independent investigations, they have been conducted side by side with a criminal investigation. So one should not interfere or impede with the other. Okay, and that's the whole purpose of having an independent investigation. They shouldn't rely on the other. So as spelled out in the resolution and city code, the audit and the investigation, and we're working as the liaison, they will have unrestricted access to all documents, people, emails, records. And because the police department is part of the city, that includes anything, that the police department has. Unless there is something specifically by state code restricts the police from providing. I don't know what that is, if there is any, but we're going off of the approach that they're going to have unfettered access to all documents and people.
Lyndon, you mentioned this firm has a history with independent investigations. Thanks for this question there. Did your office review the findings of those independent investigations or the summaries as part of the selection process as contributing factor?
Yeah, we did some due diligence. We didn't necessarily, because some of the clients that they worked with weren't necessarily a locality or a government, but based on our due diligence, some of the cases that they've worked, as well as the team that has been assembled, we're more than confident that this is something they can handle. If you do a simple Google search on Hillard Heights, which I'm sure every good reporter is going to do, their name's going to pop up, and you'll see some of the cases they have, in fact, been involved with.
But you did look at some of their
Yes,
findings
absolutely.
in addition to their
Yes,
remarks.
yes.
And I was going to ask as well, 11 of those 15 finalists were from the Virginia and DC areas. Was it intentional or was it a contributing factor to pick a firm outside of this area?
No, absolutely not. The only restriction we had one restriction. If you have done business with the city of Virginia Beach in the past, currently, or plan to, you would be excluded. And the reason we did that was to not create any conflict of interest in appearance or in fact. So if you did not do business, if you were in Norfolk, Chesapeake, or even Virginia Beach, but you did not do business with Virginia Beach, you were allowed to submit a bid. It just so happens the firm, and like I said, they were very, and it was tough, but it was not part of our thought process. It just happened to be the firm that was in fact selected is the firm that is furthest away, but in our opinion, it was the most qualified firm with a broad team of various skill sets. So we did not consciously say, let's pick the furthest firm. So it just happened to work out that way. Everybody good?
Anything else you want to mention?
No, I just say, want to let, basically let everybody know that we are interested, just like everybody else, in getting answers to the various questions that family members have, that our employees have, that our citizens have. And we hope that this is the first step, not only in getting those answers, but the first step in the healing process. So thank you very much.